the first edition of the second season of the Weightlifting Platform, where we're all rested, relaxed, and primed to get ready for the start of the newest quadrennial of weightlifting. But is it really a quadrennial if we're 3 years away from the next Olympics? The Weightlifting Platform is brought to you by the Panamerican Weightlifting Federation. I'm your host, Richard Mason. On this week's show, she's been competing in weightlifting internationally for almost a decade, but scored her first Olympic experience in Tokyo. We'll talk with Clementine Numbussi about her remarkable journey. For our tip of the week, how to navigate the change in body weight. Megan Signal will share what she's learned in changing body weights in the world where sometimes the body weight categories change. And for our regular feature Good to Know, weightlifting has always been an Olympic sport. Or has it? But first, here are the headlines. Tokyo's in the rearview mirror, and sights have been set on Paris in 3 years' time. But what's on the road ahead? First, a look back at Tokyo, which saw a continued dominance of athletes from the People's Republic of China. One athlete who couldn't compete because of COVID, and a transgender competitor who broke a barrier in one of the final categories. But what can you say about China? 7 athletes stood on top of the podium, winning gold, while the 8th received a silver. 7 other countries took gold, including Georgia, Ecuador, Canada, Uzbekistan, Chinese Taipei, Qatar, and Philippines. The flags of 21 countries were raised in medal ceremonies at the Tokyo International Forum. Of all the athletes that qualified for the Games and traveled to the Japanese capital, only one had his ability to compete stopped by the COVID-19 virus. In the men's supers, Walid Badani tested positive when he arrived. He was not able to compete. In the supers for women, all media lenses were pointed at Laurel Hubbard of New Zealand, as she was the first transgender weightlifter to take the Olympic platform. Despite making history, she didn't complete a successful snatch and did not get to come back out in the clean and jerk. We told you all these stories as the Olympics progressed. You can check them out on the YouTube channel. All you have to do is look for Weightlifting Platform Season 1. The International Weightlifting Federation has a new constitution after a failed bid at an all-online meeting to get the 2/3 majority of national federations to pass the organizational blueprint. A conference was held in Doha, and the document was passed. Some other amendments were not embraced by the attendees, but the wave of change appears to be enough to buy some time from the International Olympic Committee. That group has met since the Doha meeting, and despite giving the executive the right to dump a sport without a full assembly, the IOC meeting closed with no change in weightlifting's Paris status. And those are today's headlines. Now, good to know. In many articles talking about weightlifting at the Olympics, it's sometimes cited that weightlifting was one of the original sports of the modern movement and has been there ever since. That is only partly right. It is true that weightlifting was contested back in 1896 in Athens as part of the field events in track and field or athletics. But weightlifting took a few breaks along the way to Tokyo, Paris, and beyond. Weightlifting wasn't contested in the 1900 Games, but was in 1904. It wasn't, though, until 1920 that weightlifting was back, this time as a standalone sport. And the sport has put the Fortius in the Olympic motto of Citius Altius Fortius together ever since. And that's good to know. Now time to talk. Clementine Numbussi of Cameroon has been competing internationally for almost a decade now. Some in the 87 kilo category. And before that, she was in the 90 kilo category. Before that, she was in the plus 75 kilo category. To say she's not an overnight sensation is fair. She's been competing for a while. We call her now, though, an Olympian. And we are also pleased to call her our guest. Welcome. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
First off, we ask everybody this, so we want to know your story too. How did you start? What was the experience in you getting into the sport of weightlifting?
I haven't started a sport with weightlifting. I start with other sport, and sometimes I see the weightlifter champions, and uh, it's become my dream to be a champion in weightlifting. That's why I start with weightlifting in 2010.
Now, tell us about starting out. Did you have a coach at the beginning? Did you just look over at the other champions and say, "Hey, can I get in there? Can I try this?"
I just saw, and I asked if I can try this, and they say yes, you can come and try. So I go, and I have a coach who start with me uh, like this.
Now, let's talk about some of your results. Your first international result was at the African Championships back in 2012. You placed fifth. You were in the plus category at the time, the 75 kilo plus category. Was
Yes.
competing internationally, was that what you expected at the time? Because you'd only been in the sport for 2 years at that point.
No, it was my first competition international, and it was a good experience, and that's make me uh, that's make me want work hard to be an Olympian champion.
Now, tell me a little bit about weightlifting in Cameroon. Are there a lot of grassroots weightlifters, and then a lot of intermediate, and then the national team? Is it a popular sport in Cameroon?
No, weightlifting is not a popular sport in Cameroon. And weightlifting in Cameroon is very difficult because uh, we don't have good, uh, how to say that, good place to train. We don't have equipment, uh, and there is no, uh, I don't know.
Okay, so there's no there. It's tough to find equipment, tough to find a place to lift. Coaches, good coaches.
We have good coaches, yes, but the coach is not all the time with you. That's why it's difficult. You sometimes you have to train alone. Sometimes coach is with you just when we have uh, competition or international competition. When we start stage, that's when they take you with all the thing. But even if it's not that, if you are not in preparation for some competition, so you have to make your own training or
Okay. Now, I look back at your totals. Your totals climbed from that first meet, but your placings over the next 3 years at the African Games and African Championships held the same spot. You were still in fifth position. Now, was that frustrating for you because you weren't passing other weightlifters, or were you just happy that you were putting that much more weight on the bar, hoping that the placings would also come eventually?
I'm uh, happy when I'm lifting more weight, when we put uh, more weight on the bar.
Now, after Rio 2016, the IWF introduced new weight categories. Before that, you were
Yeah.
competing as a plus. So that meant the athletes you were lifting against could be 5 kilos more than you, They could be 50 kilos more than you. Was the introduction of the new categories a big deal for you, as now you were out of the pluses and competing against women that were considerably closer to your own body weight?
Uh, I think for me is the same category. I was playing in plus 75. I was 18 kilogram. I'm playing of in plus 75. After plus 75, they make 19, 19 and plus 19. Now is plus. Now is 87 kilogram. So for me, it's the same.
Your body weight changed the same, but your competitors considerably changed, didn't they? The people you were lifting against, because now you've got a narrower focus of just, between the categories up to 87.
Yes, down or 87 is better for me because to play with plus 87, that is too high for me.
Now, your first international podium, the first time that you got a medal placed around your neck at an international event, was Solidarity Games in 2017, where you got the silver. You totaled 223 kilos. That was significantly better than you had totaled up to that point. Did that feel like a breakthrough for you? Did that feel like, okay, now I'm here?
That's feel me like now I'm starting to be a champion like this. Now I'm starting to be a champion. I'm starting to be a strong girl.
Fantastic. Now, at the Commonwealth Games in Gold Coast, I got to watch you lift there. You finished third in a class
Yeah,
dominated by Eileen Sikamatana of Fiji, now Australia.
yeah.
The next Commonwealth Games are less than a year away in Birmingham. Is that the next goal for you as an athlete? Is that the next place, or are you looking to worlds first, or what's your next goal?
My next goal about Birmingham in Commonwealth game is to to go up, not to be third again. I'm going there to fight and try to be in Commonwealth champions. I want to come out in Birmingham with a gold medal.
Fantastic. Now, tell me about Tokyo. Tokyo was your first Olympics. Are you happy with the first Olympics on the platform? And what did you think of the Tokyo experience off the platform, in the athletes' village, all those neat, fantastic, but different things?
Yes, so it was a good experience in Tokyo. It was my first Olympic, and I was happy with that, but not very happy because I haven't I haven't play like I want because of condition, difficult condition. Training is training is was hard, and I haven't have a good preparation for that, and it was not good for me, and I'm not happy with my classmates because I made the same weight. I lift the same weight that I lift before, and that was not what I'm going there to do. But about the condition, not good preparation. That's why.
Now, does this set yourself up? Do you think that this is kind of an opportunity for you to get the whole Olympics experience before you build on it? Like you said in Commonwealth Games, you did bronze in Commonwealth Games in Gold Coast, but now you want better medal. Is this an experience that you can build on for Paris?
Yes, yes.
Now, I've got a question. Uh, 42 medals were handed out in Tokyo. Now, there was athletes from Oceania, there was athletes from Panamerica, there was athletes from Asia and Europe, but there was not a single athlete awarded a medal from an African country. You're on the ground, you're training there. What will it take for Africa to start joining in the Olympic medal ceremonies?
Uh, uh, we have just the Olympic uh, medal for the clothes of ceremony, but like I say, all in Africa with the preparation is very difficult to have medal in the Olympic. You have to 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 fight, or if you don't have good preparation, no good condition, you can't.
Okay. I very much appreciate you taking the time to talk. Stick around because we're going to do our on the clock segment next. That's where we're going to ask you some fun questions. Stick around. On the clock next. Now, this is when we put a 1 minute clock up, and we're going to ask you some questions to get to know you better. Some of them are weightlifting stuff, some of them not at all. Are you ready? Let's do this in 3, 2, 1. I've never been. What is the best thing about Cameroon?
Uh, I think is here is food. Food is
Okay,
good here.
fantastic. What was the last book that you read? Are you a reader?
No,
Okay, that's fine.
I'm not.
Are you
I'm
do you
not
do
a
social media?
reader, but
If
all all the time I just read about Bible. Just
okay,
that.
there you go. They call that a good book. The good book. Do you do social media? Which is your favorite social media?
Mm, I don't have favor.
Okay, that's fine. And last one, do you have a pre-competition superstition? Is there something you always do, like put your wrist wraps on the same way or tie your shoes the same way?
No, and in competition, I like to wear different shoes, weightlifting shoes.
There you
I
go.
like to put different weightlifting shoes, and I like to make up because I like to be beautiful in my competition.
Fantastic. I very much appreciate you taking the time to talk to us. Thank you and best of luck going forward.
Thank you.
Now it's time for the tip of the week. As we discussed in the interview, the Weightlifting Federation over the years has changed weight categories. Athletes also change weight. How do you deal with the changes? Here's New Zealand's Megan Signal with our tip of the week.
Hi, Megan Signal, New Zealand weightlifter here. Today I'm just going to give you a couple of things that have helped me through weight cuts and also weight gains in terms of nutrition with weightlifting. So in terms of weight cuts, the main thing that I thought helped me the most and allowed me to consistently cut weight in a good way that was healthy and that supported my training was to make sure that I did it through eating whole foods. So eating foods that come out of the ground, off trees, or off plants. This way it is ensuring that the food that I'm eating is food that my body was designed to digest, designed to use for energy, and I was able to use that really, really well without inflammation or any other things that were happening within the body during my training sessions. This also meant that food would move through well, and that the weight cuts were healthy and done over a longer period of time healthily, rather than just extremely cutting calories in a short period of time.
Thanks for joining us for this week's edition of the Weightlifting Platform, brought to you by the Pan American Weightlifting Federation. If you want to watch more weightlifting content on the internet, all you have to do, September 23rd to the 26th, the Oceania Senior Championships are being held online. Also, from the 24th of September to the 3rd of October, the European Junior Championships and the U23 Championships take place in Finland. That championship will be streamed, and you can follow it online on the Finnish Weightlifting Federation YouTube, as well as their Facebook. If you like what you see here with our program, please bookmark us on YouTube. You can also like the IWF on Facebook, Instagram, and or Twitter at IWFNET. I'm Richard Mason. Good lifting.